this is now, and this is kind of like our new baby. It has this long name, and I also put it there, like the NDS Expert AI Assistant. I don't know why we put that name so long. It should simply be called NDS Chat or something like that. So probably we're going to change the name. So what is this thing about? The background is that our NDS Live documentation, or NDS Live itself, is highly modular, right? That was one of the features. And for some, it's always like with many things in life, there's a good side of the thing and the bad side of the thing. Of course, modularization is perfect if you only want to have parts of only want to use parts, better for updatability of the spec, and so on and so forth. But it also means that the documentation needs to be split in many parts, right? So the documentation is at the moment split into a user guide where there's the architecture and the overall concepts explained. And then there are best practices and design decision. And then there's a huge part in the module documentation. The module documentation for each and every module is more or less really the key to the mansion on the hill. So you have to read this. But when you're looking at the small picture there, this is all of the modules that we currently have. So when you're implementing a use case, you will figure out, okay, I have to read here, there, everywhere, and so on and so forth. We did do recently make a survey across the NDS members, and I think it will be presented later on as well, the results. And one of the takeaways was, I think I remember this one was to say, explain how the specification should be read. So basically what to read first, what to read then, and so on and so forth. And since this was not really new feedback, at the beginning of the year, the NDS Association decided, hey, you know what? Let's implement a AI chatbot that can help here. Because the developer ramp up, that's the takeaway of this slide here, is not always easy, right? So this is the feedback we're getting constantly also on Slack, that, okay, I think I got it, this and this and that, and then we figure out, yeah, but you missed to read that, and so on and so forth. So to all simplify that, AI to the rescue. So the idea is, of course, to solve the problem with a large language model, or also AKA AI chatbot. So we have built a conversational AI assistant who has actually NDS Live knowledge. So if you go to large language models, services available on the internet, like ChatGPT, DeepSeek, or others, you will find they know something about NDS Live, but they actually only know the things that we published on the blog or on LinkedIn or whatever, these kind of information, which is quite high level. And once you start asking questions on the details, it starts hallucinating, right? Because it just doesn't know. So what we're doing, what we've been doing is we put all the NDS Live knowledge and put it into an LLM. And there is one thing, it's available, like you see there, chat.nds.live. So we can call this NDS Live Chat and get rid of the AI or whatever kind of name, which is unfortunately currently only available for NDS members. But this has nothing to do with, it's not on purpose. This is actually just a small flaw in the implementation or deployment that we did. We're working with the IT provider of NDS who's doing all the authentication and authorization for us, that will also get the evaluation members to do this. So should be fixed within this week, I hope. Yeah, we figured out in the process simply too late because all the NDS members in the beta phase was only done with NDS members, everything worked. And then recently we tried it out with my own non-member NDS account, and I figured out, oh my God, I cannot access it. And so that'll be fixed soon. So it will be available for everyone who can sign up on the developer portal. All right, some details. if you're interested in this, how this works. So the chat application runs on NDS servers, so you don't need to install anything. The large language model that we're using is a European one. It's Mistral AI from Paris in France. What it knows, actually currently only the user guide and all the module documentation. So it doesn't know anything about code or code snippets or generated code yet. So this will be done in increments and steps. And the NDS Live content is added via retrieval augmented generation via RAG in an embeddings database that we create. And I'm always asked for people who are like a little bit into into LLMs, they would always ask, did you try to fine tune a model? So yes, we tried to, but it did not give the results that we were expecting. So RAG gives a lot better, especially since it's only like if you would print out the current documentation that we're feeding to it, it's like 1,000 pages of PDF, for instance. And that is for fine tuning, still a very small data set, right? So generating Q&As out of this is kind of tedious, or actually it didn't bring, it is kind of giving you the correct answers, but still RAG is the better approach. So we may want to, in the future, combine both approaches, but at the moment we think RAG is quite good enough. So what are the features? A quick overview. It has a conversational chat, so you can start the chat, you can relate to earlier questions, so it takes the history into account, so like you are used to chat with ChatGPT and others. It keeps the history of chat per user, so also something, if you've ever been to any of those you see on the left side, there's also a history of chats. We have the same thing. And it also links to relevant sections in the developer portal. So it always gives you the source where you can find and read out. So in case you don't trust the LLM, because it depends on what you're asking. All the LLMs sometimes hallucinate a bit. So it's always good to read it up then with the links that it provides. And soon we're gonna add better attribute explanations. So the attributes are so NDS attributes are scattered all over the place, all over the different modules. The LLM at the moment still has its problems to exactly tell you for which use case to use what attribute. We'll be adding more documentation on this and also improve the chatbot by doing that. And we will add the whole NDS tools documentation so that it can also assist you in running the map viewer or in running the certification kit or any of the reference apps that we have. And we will improve multi-language support. At the moment, it is kind of natively, we would say it's recommended to use it in English. But during beta phase, we figured out that it also works in other languages. So basically, the original large language model is capable of multiple languages, including Japanese, Korean, Chinese, French, German, English, and so on. And we have heard that some of the languages give quite good results, others not so much. And we will also look into improve the multi-language support, because it's sometimes, we have seen that is sometimes some developers just love to get it explained in their natural language and not in English. But at the moment, as we will not translate the documentation will always stay in English. So there is that's like the ground truth language, we would always say. So it's always like, if you use it in your natural language, just handle with care. And then last but not least, very important, we will add also sample code. So it can actually then assist you in writing applications for NDS Live, how to access data, how to maybe manipulate data and things like that. But that is considered to be the last step, because that is the most crucial step in terms of safeguarding the quality. Because if it tells you whatever kind of things and you start implementing it the wrong way, you're gonna be really, I would say, not satisfied. really be frustrated and probably not use it any longer. So there we have to really see how we can safeguard that it doesn't hallucinate any kind of code that doesn't work. All right, but enough said. I think I still have some time. Let's demo this quickly. I hope this works here with all the internet and other connections. So you can, hang on. Let's not use the mouse. The mouse is not, it's going to sleep mode. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So I hope you can see this. So I don't see this on the screen here any longer. So when you open the NDS developer portal and you sign in, there is now here a new button on the right, Chat with AI Assistant. You can click on this, then you have to re-agree or reconfirm your agreement with the NDS license terms. And then it opens a chat interface. And you can start right away. I'm sorry that it is in German here because it uses the system language of the computer. Yeah, you can then basically, here are some prepared ones that you can try out, which we will do. And it then can, so if you heard about what is smart layer, right? So you would usually go to the documentation website, to the portal, and maybe type search. And but it is a lot easier that you can simply get it explained, right? So it is it gives you all the details. It tells you about what it is, where to look it up. It should actually not very often say document 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually not, but here it does. But when you click on those, you will find yourself going to the developer portal again. So these are the links back into the specification, and then you can read it up. Was that opening in a new one? Yeah. And you can always then say something like, I don't know, tell me more about item. What do we know more about? Service interfaces, item 8. So then it should now tell us a little bit more about what the service interfaces are for. And basically, this should give you a quick overview and should help in any of the questions you or your developers have. The first feedback was that it is quite useful, especially for the colleagues who are the main peer for NDS questions in the company, that you usually been asked by other colleagues, how is this solved in NDS? How is that solved in NDS? Now they only share the link and say, ask the chat, or they kind of like ask the chat, copy it out and send it on chat or on an email. However you want to use that. Yeah, basically, there's not too much to say about it, other than I think it's a pretty exciting thing what it can do, and based on the more or less the short work that we did there, and I think we can improve it a lot in the future next months, and to make it even easier for developers to adopt NDS Live. Are there any questions? I mean, feel free to try it out. It's there's one thing which is also I think we have to add a new. Oh, hang on. Where is that? How can I add a new chat? No, hang. Here it is. It wasn't open. So here on the left side, you see the chat history, and you can then also go there, click, and it says teilen in German, but it means share. So you can also share a link. So it basically, you can copy the link and you can share this then even with a colleague or whatever out of your So and then they get the same conversation, they can copy over the conversation, continue it. So basically it has all the features that ChatGPT and others have as well. And you will see here on the right, on the left-hand side, you then see your history, and you can even search the history and so on and so forth. And yeah. Sometimes it depends on the connectivity, whether it is slow or fast. Now it's still quite fast because actually it's not running on completely on premise, so it's not a GPU that runs on an NDS server, but we're using the Mistral AI API after having reviewed all the privacy terms and stuff that they fit with NDS. And so this is one of the things you should know. If you have something super secret, the chat history is stored on NDS servers, and it's currently unencrypted. So, but we thought, okay, you're asking something about the spec usually, but if you there put your super secret source inside, we will probably never look at it, but you should know that it is possible that. So in case you need that to be encrypted or so, that would be a feature request that we would need to implement in addition. Or you can always, what is also possible, run this on your own premise. So there will be also one item I forgot for coming up feature. So it is containerized actually. So you can run the Docker image also within your company on your own server with your own. You can then connect to any of your own large language models that you like. So it is built with a couple of interfaces that are easy to configure. So you can also simply say, yeah, we don't want to use the one from NDS, but we want to have the NDS knowledge in-house, and maybe whatever, combine this in an agentic network with your own other stuff, so that this is your NDS expert, for instance, that talks to other bots. It's all possible. Reach out. We'll be happy to assist in doing stuff like that, because that's really interesting. So yeah, having said that, was a pleasure to present here. Thank you very much, and yeah.